There is someone cutting grass across the street. You son of the... And you're lucky I'm done recording. Don't make me go out there and threaten you to drop you like in the middle of the forest with nothing, like nothing. I'm that cruel. I do it all the time in Unveil. Yeah, you better run. Man, this is a big screen. Like if I have to go like this to see outside the window, then... Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the developer log of Unveil, and today we will see a new feature that I started working on Saturday night, and by accident 48 hours later of hard work it was done on Monday night instead of resting during the weekend as I promised myself. But you know, screw promises, I guess, in behalf of the project. And also today we're also gonna see some more 2D assets that, you know, I like to unveil to you slowly, video by video, so we're gonna be doing that. So, as the title may have spoiled to you already, yes, the feature is character customization. Now you're gonna be able to change the way your little guy looks, from the hairstyle, the hair color, the skin color between pale, light, tan and dark. You're also gonna be able to change between like around 7 different outfits with 8 variations each, and also the strength or deepness, how deep the eye color is. I think that is really what the setting is. And then of course all of the settings in between. And not only that, you're finally gonna be able to play with the female version of the character, which looks similarly on purpose, but then of course you can change everything about her as well. Likewise, we need to change a few things for this to make sense, since now you're gonna really be taking over the look of the character. This is something I was still pondering, whether we should have a fixed character, maybe a male and a female character, and that's it, and just work with that. And give them names like, you know, the little guy has, but you barely know or barely notice. But I fear that this would be also a great opportunity to let everyone, just about everyone, mod in different outfits or hairstyles or what have you for the characters, because I built this with the modding capabilities in mind. Everything is loaded through the package manager, which is the one, you know, the package is the extension for packages, and the package manager is the one dealing with all of the assets. It does a self or auto discovery of all of the assets, and it go, oh, I found a hairstyle, oh, I found a male clothing, I found a female hairstyle, I found this and that, and it just puts everything in one place. And it makes it so that even if you are using a hairstyle from a mod, and then you take that package out of the game and then play the game again, you just get, you know, defaulted back to some hairstyle that the base game has. So you can't really break the game even if you are using an asset and you no longer are using it. The character customization is also across all playthroughs. So if you sort of, instead of going to settings, you go to the customize section on the main title of the game, and that will allow you to change the character for all playthroughs, right? It's sort of like what's your avatar, right? But it's not really your avatar, because as you know, when you're interacting with the character, for the character, he or she is now she as well is in the world, and you are both in this together, but he or she is the one suffering everything, right? That is sort of the relationship you have. It's not really like you are him or you are her, even if you if you want to role play it, that's fine, but really that's not really how the little guy talks. Now you may have noticed, and I want to talk a little bit about history before we jump into the 2D assets and wrap up this video for this week. I want to talk a little bit of the sort of the history of the name and everything. The game was called something else in the beginning. It was supposed to be a survival game, but survival on the side, just like any other survival game does it, right? Like, yeah, it has survival elements, but you're exploring, or you are killing stuff, or you are, you know, zombies or dinosaurs or what have you, or you're constructing things, you're building castles. Whatever the case is, survival is something served on the side, but it's never the main dish. And that was just the case with Unveil, named differently back then. And after playing a while, I'm like, well, am I just like, am I trying to do too much, like survival on one side and also all this like magic and RPG battles and so on? I'm like, I mean, I love the survival aspect. Why am I making all of this, right? Is it that I don't like it, or that I think that I can't make a game solely on survival mechanics? And slowly started to migrate more towards that, and of course that sort of delayed me a whole year in development. To throw away so much work that I put into like sort of a previous concept that I still was intoxicated with for the next 2 years, and I kept sort of working on stuff that I shouldn't have been working until I really purified everything and arrived to this, you know, worry about heat, worry about cold, worry about water, worry about eating. And really these are like the 4 main components you're dealing with in Unveil, but that still makes it so complicated, so hard, right? Even if there are just 4 variables, you can just really summarize this in 4 variables, and it's still the core center of the game, and I'm really happy about that. Likewise, the game used to have a story, right? You would actually not have scenarios, it would just be one really long story with survival components to it. The main character being Keith, and then a girl also called Natalie in the story as well. Keith, I don't know where I got that name from. I'm like, I sort of created the character, and then I went, okay, what does this look like? What does this guy look like? And I'm like, well, it looks like a Keith to me, but I don't know if it's a name either. I am pretty confident it is. I'm pretty sure I heard it somewhere. But yeah, that's pretty much how the name came up. And then I just left it there because, you know, I'm like, if I want to change it, I'll just change it later. But then I actually never got to use it. But the death messages kept the name Keith. So whenever you die, you can see it goes, Keith died out of starvation. And you probably went, oh, he's called Keith, right? And Natalie would be the alternate character, and in the story there were 2 things that I was working on. Either you would play as Keith and Natalie would be a non-playable character, or you would play either and the non-playable character would be the other one, the opposite, right? So if you would play as Natalie, then Keith would be the non-playable character in this whole survival magic game that was going on. But yes, with time, I pretty much went, just focus on survival, and then of course Natalie never made it in because at the time while making the game, she was a secondary character, so she never really made it into Unveil at all. And now I sort of recreated her as the default female character that you can play with, and if you want to play as Natalie, even if you never met that character, you can do it, but you're not gonna see their names in the death messages either. I'm removing any reference of Keith, and I don't think there's any of Natalie, but I'll look for it anyways. But yeah, those references are gone because that is part of the story mode that the game used to have whenever it had magic and it had all kind of things. And by the way, magic did make sense. In case you were going like, magic, that doesn't make sense. It did make sense because you could control the weather indirectly, because weather simulation was still there, like all of the simulation stuff was there, but you would control, like, you know, you could increase the temperature of the sea, right? That would cause more evaporation, more cloud formation, more storms. Like, you could indirectly do something that would affect everything else. So it was kind of cool in the concept of managing or modifying these things. Oh man, I remember like a lot of things now of all that you could do. It was a very interesting idea, but again, I saw that was just gonna be yet another survival-esque game, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make a pure survival experience, right? And then, you know, if you guys like the whole idea of magic, we can always make a standalone Unveil spin-off. I don't know, But really, I feel like I'm like, but okay, once I'm done with this, where do I go to get my fix of crude survival in nature, man versus wild experience? Nowhere. Oh fuck, then I'm still in ground zero. I didn't make any progress. I'm just making yet another survival game. So that's pretty much how it happened. So yeah, it's gonna be sad. I'm probably gonna still call him Keith. I don't know. It's sad to let it go, but really, once you're changing the character so much, like you can make it from super white to super black, and change the hairstyle and the color of the eyes and everything, it just, or even change the gender, it feels like yeah, it's no longer a thing, it's no longer a character, it's really just a character, right? And you can give him whatever name you want. It's not gonna show on the screen, but you can just role play the name of it, and it's alright. So yeah, that's sort of the backstory of why Keith and why everything, I guess, related to the little guy. I think it was worth talking about it before we put the name Keith to rest before the launch of Unveil again on April. Now it is time to show you the after and before of new sets of 2D assets, and in this case I didn't even fetch all of the previous ones. So today I wanted to show you wood logs, the stick, the torch, the thorn. You can see how it looked before. It's really hideous. You can tell when the game resolution is too low, but whenever you see this, you go, oh my god, this sucks. So yeah, that's the wood log, the stick, the thorn. And I didn't even put the torch. The torch was like an RPG Maker asset, and it was like a smudge on the screen, really. It looked like really like nastier than all of these. So it's not even here. So just use your imagination. So that is the before, right? And the after is of course these beautiful assets. Like again, look at the wood logs. Look at the wood logs. Look at they're lickable. It makes you want to lick the wood logs. Again, we're gonna lick all of the assets. The torch, it makes you want to lick it, even if it's on fire. It just burned your tongue, but it's worth it. Look at that. And of course, the stick, which is what that torch in particular is made out of. Because yes, we have assets per each torch. And the thorn is also lickable, even if it's gonna hurt. Like damn, it just oh man, it's so shiny. It's great. Yes, the assets are coming out really well. We're pretty much done with the assets. In fact, we're pretty much done with the assets. Now we're really looking into, okay, what do we finish wrapping up. There's still some old assets like the fruits, which we would need to sort of redo, and little things like that, but for the most part it's done. We even have new palm trees which look great. We'll see if I'll get to show you that before the release of the game. In any case, that is all for this week. Sorry that I skipped a week. It was just a busy week, I guess. There is no excuse, really. Okay, so in 2 weeks from now, expect another video, and I try to stay true to that promise now. And yes, even if this wasn't a simulation or gameplay related feature, I think it was worth talking about it. I'm really excited about this, and there's still a lot more to talk about, so we're gonna be doing that in 2 weeks. All right, 2 weeks from now we have actually we have 2 more episodes of developer logs before the game comes out, right? So yeah, that is all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.